Toyota's Avalon full-size sedan is dead. Long live the Toyota Crown. What's up, folks? I'm Dave Undercoffler, editor-in-chief of Autolist.com, a sister company to CarGurus. Toyota recently axed the Avalon sedan from its lineup and in its place introduced this, the high-riding Toyota Crown. Starting at just over $41,000, this Crown sits above the Camry in Toyota's lineup and comes standard with all-wheel drive, one of two hybrid powertrains, and plenty of sleek styling to boot. So is all of that going to be enough to keep people from defecting to crossovers and SUVs? Let's go spend some time with this and find out. But before we do, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you can get alerts on all of our future updates. All right, let's start by taking a look at the exterior of this Crown, but before we do, quick word on trims. The base is the XLE. It starts at about $41,000, including destination. Then there's the Limited, which starts at about $47,000. We're testing a Limited today, but it has some options on it that push the sticker price of what you see here up to about $51,000. And then on top of that, there's the Platinum, which is $54,000. There's one key difference about the Platinum. We'll tell you about that in just a minute, but let's get back to the styling here. Toyota really went bold and sleek for this model. You can tell in the front, it's got quite a bit of a mouth here. Over here, you've got LED daytime running lights. And then because we're in a limited model, you also have 4 LED headlights down below. Finally, the color of the model we're testing here is called Supersonic Red. It's a great red. I've really liked driving it around. Looks great in the sunlight. Toyota does offer a two-tone package on some of the Crown trims, and I gotta say, definitely skip that. I'm surprised they offer it at all. Turning to the side of the Crown, this is where you really see sort of the dramatic profile that this car has. It almost looks like it might be a hatchback. It's not. This is a traditional trunk back here, but it really does give it a sort of sporty profile. And then you can also see it sits up higher. It sits up about 4 inches higher than a Toyota Camry. It's also about 4 inches longer, despite having a wheelbase that's roughly the same as the Toyota Camry. So all of that adds up to a really unique looking car. You don't see many other sedans on the road that have this profile, and it's been getting a lot of attention throughout the week that I've been testing it. But what do you guys think? Do you like the way this looks, or do you think it's kind of goofy? Be sure to let us know in the comments below. Finally, one more thing I want to point out is that our car, it's a Limited and then has the optional advanced tech package. Part of that tech package are these 21-inch alloy wheels. I really like these rims. I think they're a great addition to the car. They really sort of complement the rest of the bold styling. So if you are shopping for it, I definitely recommend ticking that box. Finally, at the back, the Crown continues with some of its unique styling. You've got this horizontal LED light bar running across the top, and just under that, you've got this sort of patterned look. Not sure how I feel about that. Let me know about that in the comments below as well. And then the button to open this trunk is actually surprisingly hard to find. If you are shopping for this car, or if you already own it and wonder where it is, well, it's right down here. All right, now to powertrains. And the base XLE and this Limited have the standard engine. It's a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine paired with 3 electric motors for a total of 236 horsepower. It has standard all-wheel drive and a CVT type of gearbox. It's rated by the EPA at 42 miles per gallon in the city, 41 on the freeway, and 41 overall. But if all of that is not enough, you can opt for the Platinum model, and that has a totally different powertrain. It's a turbocharged 2.4-liter 4-cylinder engine and an electric motor that makes a total of 340 horsepower. It's paired with a 6-speed automatic transmission and full-time all-wheel drive. It's rated by the EPA at 29 miles per gallon in the city, 32 on the freeway, and 30 overall. All right, turning now to the interior, and generally I really like the inside of this Crown. It's a nice, comfortable place to be. Base models, that's the XLE, are gonna come standard with fake leather seats that are heated up front. We're in a Limited, so these are actually real leather seats. They're heated up front. We also have ventilated seats up front and a heated steering wheel. All models are going to come with this 12.3-inch touchscreen infotainment system. It has wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. Generally, it's been pretty good to use. I've had a few issues with it connecting to my phone after I've already put it in the system, but once you're connected, it works well. It's a nice bright screen. The menus are fairly intuitive. I do wish, this drives me nuts sometimes when automakers do this, that when I'm in CarPlay mode, I still had a menu of buttons along the side here where I could get to all of the other features on the infotainment system. So basically that means when you're using Waze or one of the apps here and you want to go to the audio settings, you got to go through a couple of different steps. That just gets a little frustrating. I also like that there's a physical volume knob. If you've seen our videos before, you know I hate it when it's touchscreen everything, so having that has been pretty nice. A couple of other things that I like about this interior, we've got a digital display for the instrument panel as well. That's configurable. Really nice way to set up exactly the information that you want to see. You've got climate control down here, very intuitive, very straightforward. It's physical buttons again. I like that. You also have a wireless smartphone charging down here, but it holds your phone right in place snugly against that. That's been pretty handy to have. And then on top of that, you've got a pair of USB-C ports to plug into. You've got some cup holders. I like this sort of trick console that opens up both ways. In terms of seats, they're really comfortable up here. I really like the side bolstering on this. It really holds you into place. That's nice. I also like this piping. It's sort of like a copper accent. And then you also have some of it running along the dashboard too. It's a really nice look. It sort of gives it a tech forward kind of feel. And then because we're in a limited model, we have a panoramic glass sunroof. It doesn't open, but it does bring a lot more light into what's otherwise a pretty dark cabin. My only other gripe is that there are sort of buttons kind of scattered throughout the rest of the cabin. You've got some down here in the center console. I've got more over here up next to this vent, and then more down below. There's some over here. So it'd be nice if they could consolidate those buttons sort of into one place, but overall this is a really nice interior. All right, let's take a look at rear seat space now. And earlier I mentioned that the Crown sits on top of the Camry in Toyota's sedan lineup. But in terms of interior space, especially in the rear seats, the dimensions are almost exactly the same. So don't think that you're buying the Crown and getting more space in return. As you can see, I'm sitting back here. I've got the seat set up to where I would have it if I were sitting up front. I'm 6'1", so basically I'm sitting behind myself. And leg room, knee room, room for my feet, all of that is really good. Plenty of space in that regard. Headroom does get a little tight. It's okay back here if I lean back, but you can see right here is where the sunroof kind of cuts into headroom. So if I'm going to get out, I do sort of bump my head a little bit. But generally, I could sit back here and be pretty comfortable. I also really like the seats. There's really big bolstering on the side right here. You sort of sit back a little bit. It's very comfortable. Rear seats don't always get that level of attention, so that's pretty nice. And then because we're in a limited model, we do have heated seats back here, and then a nice armrest that folds down with a pair of cup holders inside. And then finally down below, we've got a pair of USB-C charge ports. All right, now let's take a look at trunk space. And as is the case with interior space, the trunk space on this Crown really isn't that much bigger than the Camry. It's 15.2 cubic feet on this car. It's 15.1 on the Camry. So you're not buying more trunk space on this. And also the trunk opening is actually kind of small. So just some things to consider. But I did take the car on a road trip with the whole family inside and all of our stuff for a weekend piled in the trunk. So it does have plenty of usable space. One other thing I did find annoying is that these hinges for the trunk lid don't have a channel that covers them up. So when you've got lots of stuff in the trunk and you go to close it, it's actually pretty easy to crunch it with these giant hinges. That was sort of frustrating. You had to pack accordingly. But overall, there is plenty of space in this Crown. All right, now driving impressions. And I gotta say, I'm actually impressed with the power that this base engine offers. Again, 236 horsepower from 3 electric motors and a 4-cylinder engine. Adds up to actually pretty good acceleration on the freeway, good acceleration from a dead stop. So don't feel like you need to step up to the Platinum version and its turbocharged hybrid setup to get usable power. No, I could drive this version every day and be perfectly happy with everything that it gives me. The only caveat to that is that the base engine is paired with a CVT. And if you've seen our videos before, you know that I'm not the biggest fan of CVT types of transmissions. They tend to sort of make the engine drone when you go to accelerate. It's sort of a cheaper feeling type of transmission, and that's definitely the case here. There are times when you do go to accelerate, and I'll do over here, I don't know if you can hear that, but the engine just kind of drones louder than it would if you had that automatic transmission that was doing the shift. So that's my only gripe, but overall, this is definitely a setup that I could live with. Another thing I've been impressed by is the fuel economy. This Limited is rated at 42, 41, 41. And we took it on a road trip over the weekend, full of family, full of gear, and I was seeing 39 miles per gallon on the freeway. And I know that's below the EPA numbers, but for me, that's pretty good considering I have a bit of a lead foot. So overall, yeah, impressive fuel economy paired with really nice power. That's a good combination. I also like the ride quality. I know we've got the optional 21-inch rims on this car. Sometimes when you step up to larger rims, you've got the low-profile tires. It kind of ruins the ride. It gets too rough or too chattery. Not so in this car. Plenty comfortable with a nice dash of sportiness, so that's been fun to drive. In terms of handling overall, the Crown feels exactly like you'd expect, right? It's just sporty enough, gives you just enough feedback, but it's not a sports car. This is a comfortable daily driver that is really going to suit the needs of somebody looking for a larger car like this. In terms of visibility, it's about what you would expect given the low profile of this car. It's good, but not great. Out the front, you can see plenty fine. It's when you look over my shoulder, this B-pillar is really pretty thick, so that makes it kind of hard to see. And then out the back, it's good, like I said, considering the profile of this car, but again, not great. Now, normally in our videos, this is where we would talk about competition, but there really aren't many true competitors to the Crown. There aren't many full-size sedans that are non-luxury left on the market. And you can tell that Toyota tried to sort of split hairs by making this car sit up a little higher. They're trying to pull in some crossover buyers. Now, in terms of pricing, Toyota actually has created competition against itself in the form of the Lexus ES. That car starts at about $43,000. And remember, this model that we're testing right here, this Crown, is $51,000. So if I'm choosing between a Crown or an ES for the same price, I think I'm gonna go with the ES. It's just got more refinement, more features, and it has that Lexus badge. So Toyota has actually created a little bit of a situation for itself. All right, folks, there you have it, our review of the 2024 Toyota Crown. Pros, well, we like the eye-catching styling, all-wheel drive comes standard, and the power and efficiency is a really compelling combination. Cons, well, inside and in trunk space, it's no bigger than Toyota's Camry. This styling may not be for everyone, and the pricing can definitely get into Lexus territory. But overall, we do like the Crown, especially for the base XLE model. We think it's a really compelling, unique package that's gonna suit the needs of a lot of buyers. So for reviews or listings of this Crown or anything else you're shopping for, new or used, be sure to check out CarGurus.com. And before you go, like and subscribe to this channel so you can get alerts on all of our future updates. Thanks for watching.